Thank you for joining me at my YouTube channel. For most of you that don't know, my name is Zahari, but I also go by Energy. I wanted to welcome you to my page, my little virtual channel. Today I wanted to talk about how to cope with anxiety, depression, and just overall low energy feeling. A lot of my friends will probably tell you that I am a super confident, super high vibe, just positive vibes overall type of person. And within the last 2 years, I've really dealt with my share of bumpy rides, right? I've experienced attacks of anxiety and depression. And through my experience as a human being, I've been able to really understand and to understand myself and to figure out how I can cope with these things that we go through as human beings. And we all go through it. It's just our medicine is in our heart and it's very unique. But I wanted to share with you ways that I've been able to cope with anxiety and depression and how I've been able to heal a lot of my inner wounds through some of these spiritual practices. Feel, but don't dwell. This is a huge one because for a time I was ignoring and numbing myself from the feelings of anxiety. So I would just brush it off and ignore it, but it would surface again, right? Because that's what, energy, if you don't work with the energy and transfer the energy, it stays there, right? So for a while, I was numbing the pain and ignoring it. And then it would come again and surface. And then there was another time where I would feel it and I would just stay there. And the thing is, suffering is a choice, right? You could feel what you're feeling so you can understand yourself. You can reflect and say, what is my inner light trying to show me? What is this feeling? And of course it gets cloudy when you're in the middle of anxiety. You're in the storm. So you have to take a few steps back and breathe. And then study yourself, observe yourself. What is your spirit trying to express to you through the form of anxiety? Here's the thing, we all experience anxiety, right? And it's going to be for a number of reasons, and we're all unique and we have unique challenges and questions that our heart needs to answer. And so for me, I had anxiety after college. I experienced it after college when I was always living as the perfect daughter in my own head. I graduated at the top of my class and I did everything that everybody else wanted me to do. And I think anxiety comes in and depression comes in when you're playing a role that isn't your true essence, right? You're living up to the expectations of others, and not that they do it on purpose. We don't want to blame them either because they just fell into the same trap, I guess. And when you live so long for other people, you forget who you are. You forget you come onto this world with just your own natural curiosity and you want to experience things. But we come into this world and sometimes we're shaped by other people's thoughts, frameworks, and beliefs, and we completely lose who we are. But that's why there is beauty in anxiety, in the dark night of the soul, in paths of depression, because there is an art that is trying to be manifested. There's an art that's trying to be created, and the art piece is you, and the artist is you. So, at the end of the day, low times, low moments are moments for you to take advantage of the opportunity to mold yourself, to shape yourself. One thing that really helped me was identifying the dialogue that is going in my head, right? Literally paying attention to how I was feeling in those moments when I'm feeling really low. What was I just thinking a minute ago? What was I thinking a couple seconds ago? What triggered it? So for me, it was signs of unworthiness, signs that I wasn't doing anything, or thoughts that I wasn't doing anything with my life. All of these thoughts that were not only stopping me, right? They were holding me back, but they weren't allowing me to progress in the natural flow that I really wanted to. So after a while, I started to see the patterns of the same thoughts coming up and the same feelings coming up. So I took a notebook, I wrote down on one side of paper, and this, honestly, this works. I've done it multiple times. Every time I've had like a fear, an anxiety, an insecurity, I write it down. Anything, and I don't judge it, and I don't think it's good. It's just a thought. And I think when you look at your thoughts and you don't judge them because they are just there surfacing, you're able to work through them. You know, I'm not worthy, all of these things that just come up, they're just there. And writing the negative thought and then exchanging it for a more powerful thought. So I could be like, I have $25,000 in debt in student loans, or I can take that same thought and transfer it into, I'm working on teaching myself how to create wealth. I'm teaching myself to be responsible of, my finances. And that's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for learning. It's an opportunity about learning yourself. So quiet the mind, listen to your heart, start identifying and observing your thoughts, and then exchanging them for a higher vibrational thought. And last but not least, the one thing that really helped me, through depression in my lowest times, is to be the student, be the teacher. What I mean by that is that we are constantly growing, constantly. Even when we're 90, we're gonna still be growing. When our mind isn't expanding on a new topic, on something that interests us, our mind starts to take control, starts to take over, because it needs something. It's a beautiful, powerful tool, but if it doesn't have something to work towards, it is going to just pick up the pace and just go running for you. And realize that when I'm a student and I'm also applying the knowledge that I'm acquiring, it's not just learning and then writing it in notebooks and then just tossing it aside. It's actually applying it into my life. What am I learning and how am I going to use that? I'm going to teach myself how to use the things that I worked on. It helped me, a tool that I really helped me align myself back to my essence is the Bruce Lee podcast, which is a beautiful podcast that Bruce Lee's daughter works on expressing his philosophies, his ideas, his theories in such a beautiful way. And she only got to be with him for a few years, but she's able to express, his energy still lives on. And I really learn a lot through Bruce Lee and his daughter, because they're here teaching us. They're just pointing things out for us. But the pointing, right, is just a hint. It's a clue for us to follow our path, follow our inner light, and to really be the artist of our own lives, right? Much like everything else, this is just a hint for you, but in essence, you are your greatest medicine, right? The medicine is in your heart, and it's really self-help. It's really, how are you going to help yourself? You're the most powerful being in your own life, because you've been living with yourself. And the most beautiful thing is that you can take care of yourself, you can nurture yourself, and you can get out of this state of depression and anxiety when you are not distracted. And this is the most beautiful quote I've heard. You are not depressed, you are distracted. Facundo, he I think is an Argentinian. Yes, he's an Argentinian, I think, artist, singer, songwriter. I mean, he's just an amazing being that blessed us on this planet. But he says, you are not depressed, you are distracted. Think about that for a second. When we're depressed, when we're stressed out, when we're in worry and anxiety, we are in our heads and we are not in the present moment. We're thinking of scenarios that could happen, thinking of scenarios that have happened in the past, and you're missing the present moment. And I think that is a beautiful way to look at this state of or the beauty of anxiety is that it's just a moment. It's like pain. You know, when you stub your toe, it is just a temporary pain. But you realize that you can handle these swinges of pain, right? These little. So, you got this. You're an inner warrior. Remember to embrace yourself. And, you know, I wish you the best of everything. You got this. Love.